Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Chenese Lewis Show, the #1 podcast for plus-size women. I'm your guest host today, Marcy Guevara, at the Marcy Minute, coming live from Los Angeles. Today is Monday, March 17th, 2015. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I'm so lucky to be the guest host tonight, celebrating 7 years on this podcast for the plus-size community. Chenese introduced her podcast March 17th, 2008, and over the years, she's practically interviewed everybody who's anybody in the plus community and many mainstream stars as well. So before we get started with the show, don't forget to like the show's fan page on Facebook, facebook.com/Chenese Lewis Show, and on Twitter, Chenese Show, and Chenese Lewis on Instagram. Again, I'm Marcy Minute, and it's time to introduce Chenese. You all know her, and for those of you that have been listening to the show forever, since its inception, welcome, welcome. You know Chenese as an actress, as a plus figure in this community, and as a superstar that you're all tuning in for. So, Chenese, welcome to your show.
Hey, Marcy. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my gosh, it's my pleasure, and there's just so much to talk about. So, first off, let's start with your big move back to the South. I want to hear all about it.
Well, yes. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I moved to Los Angeles for my career and lived in Los Angeles for 10 years, a whole decade. I lived there, built my brand, and everything that I've done in Los Angeles. But my dad got sick at the end of 2013, and when he was in the hospital, the doctors were telling us that he was going to need 24-hour care. So I'm an only child, and, my mama was taking great care of him, but that's just a lot for one person to be a primary caregiver alone. So I packed up my bags and was a good daughter and just moved abruptly, like it wasn't planned. I didn't have a long time to get my stuff together, but family comes first, and you do what you got to do.
Absolutely, and I'm an only child, so I completely understand, and I can't imagine being in your position, but I think you did what you had to do, and I think that obviously you're still super busy, so it was the right choice, and you're not slowing down, so I'm glad that you're there for your dad and your mom. I'm sure she appreciates that. Yeah,
but then I want to add, too, since I've moved home, my dad recovered miraculously, and the doctor wasn't right. My dad is walking, driving, and almost back to normal. So maybe just having his only child home was the medicine he needed.
He needed a little of that Chenese magic.
Right.
Well, L.A. really misses you, and I know you get to come often, so I'm happy to get to see you every now and then. But tell me about Baton Rouge Fashion Week 2015 and its fashion icon.
Well, Baton Rouge Fashion Week is fairly new to the area. When you think about fashion, you think about New York or L.A., but not necessarily the South. But there's fashion weeks popping up all over the country in different cities. So I was so excited when I saw that there was one in Baton Rouge, and this year they gave me an honor of being the 2015 Fashion Icon Award because, they wanted to celebrate all that I was able to do while I was in Los Angeles, because where I'm from, it's a small town, and they don't really encourage you to go move to L.A. to follow your dreams. That was a big deal for me to move down south to a city where I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any family there. I didn't have like a job waiting for me there. I moved to Los Angeles completely on faith and just a dream. So, it's always exciting to get acknowledged for your accomplishments, but when it comes from your hometown, that makes it even better.
Absolutely, and I think that you're such an inspiration to people that are from places where maybe the arts aren't encouraged, or where maybe that big leap of faith is what it takes to really follow a dream. I mean, I'm so thankful to be from Orange County because I'm just
right.
a little drive away from LA, but I think there are
right.
people out there that think they don't know if they could do it. But you're absolutely right that with the right amount of determination and a little bit of imagination, you can do a lot.
Right. So that was a big accomplishment in my hometown.
Well, that's awesome. And I think that, fashion is everywhere. I think fashion is wherever we are, wherever women are. And, especially there are plus-size women all over the country. So I think
right.
that, Baton Rouge Fashion Week, bringing a little of that glam to the South is super important. And that's so awesome that you get to be involved.
And then, especially in the South, it's really a lot of plus-size women in the South because, we have all this good food down here. Girl, since I moved home, I done gained weight with all this food down here, so it's lots of plus-size in the South.
I bet there is, and I think that that's super important for the plus-size world to know that. And I'm so glad I'm not from there because, I'd be – I'll have to come visit, though.
Yes.
So tell me about Ada Cosmetics. You've been working with them for several years, and there's a new Confidence and Glamour campaign, and there's no one that I can think of that embodies that more than you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, thank you. Ida Cosmetics is a cosmetics line that's based in Los Angeles, and one of the things I was really good for, well, not just in Los Angeles, but in general, is networking. So I actually met Ida at another event, and we just exchanged business cards, and we were like, we would like to work with each other, and she created this campaign around me, and I'm very proud to work with the cosmetics company because cosmetics is something that women of all sizes use. However, there's not a lot of diversity as far as size in mainstream cosmetics campaigns. So I'm very excited that we love to see plus-size women in plus-size clothes, but plus-size women buy more than clothes. They buy all kind of products. So we did the Confidence and Glamour campaign for 2 years, and even though I moved, they still want to keep that relationship with me. And I'm going to be coming out to LA to shoot the new campaign soon, and this will be my third year in a row working with Ida Cosmetics. So I'm just super excited for that opportunity. And, cosmetics is for all women and even some men. It's for everybody.
That's right. It's for everybody. And, I think that brings me, sort of the memories of maybe, hitting the store with your girlfriends as a teenager and really being only able to buy cosmetics. I think us plus-size girls have a very special relationship with, accessories and cosmetics for that reason. They always fit. A great blush always looks good, no matter what size you are.
Right. One size fits all.
Now, tell me, what are two products you can't live without?
Cosmetics or just in general?
Yes, we're talking about cosmetics, girl.
Okay, well, two products I can't live without. That's a tough one. I would say bronzer, I think. I always have on some bronzer, even if, I put it over my foundation, and even if I don't want to wear foundation, I just put bronzer on. And maybe some dark-skinned women might not think that, bronzer look good on us, but it does, and it does show up, and it's sparkly and sun-kissed. So I really like bronzer, and I like a good lipstick, a good red lip. I don't wear a red lipstick often, but that's one of the things that I really like to stand out if it's a special occasion or something.
I love it. And you named off two things out of the three that I always say you need, which are lips, lashes, and lines. So the one thing you didn't name was lashes, which I love a great mascara, something to just plump and lift and curl and just kind of bring out your eyes. So,
Right.
anyways, I love it. And I definitely think that all women, and give it a chance if you've never tried it. It's, I think it does add something to the look. And also it's great for contouring and bringing up those cheekbones.
Right, right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, I know you were sick, and it's so crazy that you were there to take care of your dad, but you actually
Right.
ended up falling into some health issues in July. So tell me about that and just kind of what a crazy and miraculous recovery you had.
Right. So, like I said, I moved home to help take care of my dad, and I am in good health moving home. I don't have, any high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol. I'm a big girl, but I'm a big girl with no complications. So, July, I always go to the Essence Music Festival. That's where I go and interview all the music stars and the celebrities every summer. And so I wasn't feeling good at the Essence Festival, and my legs and feet were swollen. And my feet were so swollen that they couldn't fit in any shoes. Like, I had to go shoe shopping, and I was looking for extra wide shoes, and my feet still wouldn't fit in the shoes. And so, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't think it was life or death because, like I said, I moved back to the South. My mama cooks every day. I thought I was just gaining weight or whatever. But I didn't get anything checked out. I was like, I'll do it after the 4th of July festivities. So I went down to New Orleans. I actually hosted the event. My legs were swollen. I was feeling horrible, but, I'm booked. I'm going to go do what I got to do. I had a photo shoot, and I was just feeling horrible. So after that weekend, I went to the hospital because I was just in pain, and comes to find out I had an abscess. Now, the abscess was on my left thigh, but it was on the left thigh, like under the butt cheek, so I couldn't see it. I couldn't physically see it. But, that was the first time I ever had an abscess, so I didn't know, what I was feeling. I didn't know, that it was something major. So the abscess was hurting like level 20. So I went to the hospital, and they did an emergency lance of the abscess. And I stayed in the hospital overnight. They gave me antibiotics, and they sent me home. But, however, when I came home, I was in the bed asleep, and I woke up out of my sleep, and I couldn't breathe. So I sat up in bed, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. And so I was like, it was daytime. Luckily, both of my parents was home, and I was like, I need to go to the emergency room. So my parents drove me to the emergency room, and, I could not breathe. They put the oxygen mask on me. They were putting all these different things, and it wasn't working. So, they put me to sleep, and when I woke up, I was in ICU on the ventilator. And, the ventilator is like when people are about to die. Like, I was on life support where the tube was down my throat and the machine was, helping me breathe. So come to find out, when in hindsight, when they told me what had happened, that abscess got infected and the infection went into my bloodstream. And the act of infection going through your bloodstream is called sepsis. Now, I had never heard of sepsis before, and it's something really common that 1 of 3 people die from, but I never heard of it. So sepsis has 3 stages. Stage 1 is your legs and feet swelling. I did not know. So I was going through New Orleans, stage 1 of sepsis. This infection could have taken me down. I was hosting that event. That infection could have taken me down with the photo shoot on Bourbon, but thank God, like some people that get it, they die in one day. So I don't know what kept me going. So I was past stage 1, and I went all the way to stage 3, which is called septic shock. And that means the infection had, started from my feet and legs and was going all the way up and got to my lungs. And that's why I couldn't breathe. So it would have taken down my lungs, then went to a different organ, and I would have been dead. So I am so blessed to be here. And, I was thinking, I moved home to take care of my dad, but I could have been in Los Angeles in my house alone with nobody to take me to the hospital. So, I might have moved home and, selfishly moving home helped save myself maybe.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, that's so crazy, and I think it goes to show that obviously what you were going through was super serious. I mean, I think it's great for you to be able to articulate it so clearly so that if anyone out there is suffering, and you may not have sepsis, but maybe you aren't feeling great, maybe you have shallow breathing, maybe you're struggling with something, and this has to do with anybody that's fat or thin, but if your body's not right, it's really important to realize that you're not curing cancer, you're not out there hosting the Oscars, like you needed to listen to your body, and thank God that it wasn't, that it didn't, like you said, take you down in that moment when you were traveling. But I think that especially when you're traveling, but if you're not feeling right, it's really important to see a doctor and to get the help that you may need because you could be dealing with something super serious.
And ironically, I was just doing some research because I didn't know anything about it, and I found this article that said, plus-size patients with sepsis usually live. So maybe me being plus-size was to my advantage in this situation because maybe if I was smaller, that infection would have went through my body quicker and got to my organs quicker. So who knows? Because I had to have it. Huh?
It had some junk in the trunk that it had to go through, literally, right?
Right.
Well, I think
it had a more nasty effect.
It's important for us to hear this, I think, especially those of us that know you through social media, because, everyone always jokes that, social media is sort of our best life put forward. We all put up, the flowers that the boyfriend bought us on Valentine's Day or, the fun stuff. We don't often put up the real stuff. And even when we do, because you did share pictures from when you were sick and you shared updates ill, you still don't know the gravity of the situation until you really hear the story. So I think it's great, that you're sharing that because it was not just like I'm in the hospital, like I fractured my arm. It was a really serious thing.
Right, very serious. And actually, September is Sepsis Awareness Month, and I definitely want to be a part of bringing awareness to it because 1 of 3 people die from it, and, you don't even have to be sick. It was just random. I would have been dead, and everybody would have been like, what happened to Chenese? It would have been so random. So, I want to bring awareness to it. And, I did post a picture online, but I didn't post a picture of me on life support. And I have that picture, too, and I'm saving that for, something special. Maybe I could go on Dr. Oz or maybe I can go, do an interview with the medical magazine or something. So I'm saving that picture for something big. But I definitely want to be an advocate for it now.
Well, I think that's, I think being an advocate is great, and I think that pitching that story, but that's a whole nother podcast about how to turn your life, into a segment for TV. But, what I think it brings up an interesting point, and I think it is more popular now that we're in this time of social media where people are literally sharing everything. And there's not a lot of divide between what moments are to be kept private and what moments are to be shared. And now I think people just think or want or just do share everything. So maybe that picture is meant for you, personally.
Right.
So I have no doubt that you can get on Dr. Oz. But, it's what do you think about how much people share on social media?
Well, I think people overshare a lot. And, when you're trying to be somebody professional on social media, you have to kind of watch that and sometimes monitor what you post. If you notice, my social media for the most part is promoting events and, it's never really nothing really risque. I don't really have any curse words or anything. So, I am my brand and I represent my brand 24/7 in real life and on social media. And besides just representing my brand, my mama's on my Facebook page, so I can't be putting anything crazy on there. So,
well, I think that for those people that are listening that want to break into the industry or are, blogging or influencers or whatever stage you are, if you're listening and you are someone that wants to be a brand, like Chenese says, I think it is important to remember that. Like when you go out and you speak negatively about a company on your Facebook, think back or think forwards about possibly, the relationship or the bridge that you're burning with that brand. Or if you're saying something about, a person, or like you said, using language that isn't flattering, remember that, yes, exactly, what you put on social media. Maybe you're a college student and you're partying it up. I'm thankful that social media wasn't around when I was a lot younger, because now
right.
there's not that I was so wild, but I think that you have to be really vigilant about what goes on social media. I can attest as someone that hires people and has hired people and sees what other clients I work with do when they see a new candidate for a job. The first thing they do is go to Facebook. So I think that's a really great tip of just, you are your brand, whether you're trying to be a celebrity or you're just trying to be, a marketing professional. What you put on social media, has a big impact.
Exactly. And a lot of that stuff comes up in the Google search, like those Facebook posts comes up in your Google search. So you have to be careful.
You're like, yeah, and why did you tag me in that? Exactly. Okay, so tell me, I had a question come through on Twitter, and they want to talk about what your favorite brands are. So I would love to hear, because you are plus size and you have a lot of plus size listeners, maybe what are some of your favorite new brands and what you love about them, just so we can get a little of that plus size fashion angle here.
Well, first I like to say, like, I'm not a fashion snob. Like, I will shop low end and high end. Like, I shop maybe at a Saks Fifth Avenue, but I also get something from Target. So the most important thing to me is fit. Like, I'm really big on fit. Like, I think a lot of people wear clothing that's too tight. So I'm just really big on fit, and it's being fitting correctly. So anyway, some of the new designers that I really like Eloquii. Eloquii is fairly new, branched out from the Limited, and I really like what they're doing. I also like, who else do I shop with? I shop at ASOS and Simply Be, and it took me a long time to order something from those because they are overseas, and I just wasn't excited about shopping overseas for some reason because it takes too long to me, because sometimes I need things quick. But, I like to have clothing that maybe everybody in town is not going to have when I'm going somewhere, and it's a lot of plus-size girls. So those are three that I'm shopping at right now. And I know it's some more. Oh, I like Zelly for She. She's new and designer. It's probably a lot. I'm drawing a blank right now. But I shop a lot at department stores, too.
That's right. We love Macy's.
Yeah, Macy's, Nordstrom's, Dillard's. There wasn't a Dillard's in L.A., but Dillard's is one of my go-to places down here in the South.
Well, I think that you brought up a great point, that mixing high and low is super important. Just, for your versatility, for your wallet, and just like you said, not to be a snob. I think there are some really great things across the board. I think there's, high-end fashion that's really exciting, like Gibri or Single. There's a lot of brands that cater to curves that Karma Coma that cost a lot of money, but you can also walk into a Target and maybe pair that Karma Coma sweater with some Target leggings or, whatever, like you said, fits your body today the best.
Right. I'm all about fit, and it'll just look good, whatever brand it is.
And I think a note on fit as well, because you do know I love my fashion, I think is to realize that there's a person that they're fitting those clothes on that does not have a body identical to you. So if something's a little bit too long or if the sleeve is a little big, don't be afraid to spend that extra little cash to get it fixed, because you will look like $1 million.
Well, and one of the things is why I'm so big on fit, because I think some of the newer clothing lines, they cater to a plus-size shape that's an hourglass or a pear, which is great, but there's other shapes besides that. I'm an apple, so I'm really big on fit, because a lot of times I try on something and my stomach's showing through. And I know some people in the plus community is like, show your rolls or whatever, but that's, everybody's personal preference, and I like it to fit perfect. So, anyway, with saying that, I'm just big on fit because I'm not an hourglass and I'm not a pear, so a lot of stuff doesn't fit me perfectly.
And we've all got our issues. I'm a pear, and nothing fits me perfectly, I'll tell you that. Because there's certain standards that, pear on the bottom, you better be, apple on top, essentially, which is, what is it? Hourglass. So know your body. That's a great tip, too. Very important for women shopping out there. So now you mentioned that on Facebook you mostly promote events and things that you're up to. So tell me a little bit about what's coming up for you in 2015 and what we can expect to see from Chenese.
Well, I have 2 big events coming up. The next thing is, I'm coming in LA in May, and I'm not in May, and tentatively in April to shoot my Ida Cosmetics campaign, and then tentatively I'm going to come back to LA to do a launch party for that campaign, but those dates are not set, but I'm just putting it out there that I'll be back in LA soon. But what is set that I'm going to next is to St. Croix for Fashion Link VI Fashion Weekend, and this is my second year hosting this event, and it's really, really beautiful in the Virgin Islands in St. Croix. So that's a plus positive event, but that is just a great vacation too, because it is so beautiful laying out on the beach and tanning, and the people are so nice and friendly. So that's a good getaway, and good fashion and good networking and just a really good, cool environment. And that's May 21st through the 24th in St. Croix and St. Thomas. And then after that, I'll be going back to the Essence Festival for the the New Orleans Natural Hair Expo. And that's 4th of July weekend during that. And that's actually the event I was hosting last year that I was sick at. So, I was able to do a good job last year, but I'm hoping to, come back even stronger now that I'm in good health, not about to pass out. So, the natural hair community is something that I'm really trying to break into. So this is like a major event that I'm so excited to be hosting. And, that event is just a part of a big weekend where so many people are going to be in New Orleans. So that's very exciting, and I'm tentatively scheduled to do other things, but they're just not announced yet. So, just always keep up with me on my social media and on my website.
And any fabulous guests planned for the podcast anytime soon, or maybe a dream guest you're going to try to get in 2015?
Well, I didn't do a lot of interviews in 2014 because I was moving and I got sick. But even though I was on a long hiatus, through the website, I get people submitting to be on the show all the time. And not just with the Plus community, mainstream publicists will reach out because, I host interview a lot of people at the Essence Festival. So, I have a backup of people that I need to interview. So, definitely I'll be trying to get back on track with the podcast for sure.
So, do you have a dream guest? Other than Oprah, maybe
right.
Anybody that's
I live
right
for Oprah.
Oh my gosh, I can't even.
Well, I like to interview celebrities because it's exciting and I'm a fan. But I also like to give a platform for people in the Plus community because, it's only a handful of people in the Plus community that get a lot of mainstream people. The mainstream tends to focus on the same handful of people over and over. There's a lot of people in the Plus community doing positive things that don't get a spotlight and don't get a platform to promote on. So even though I love, doing celebrities, I still want to kind of stay grounded in how I created the podcast for the Plus community. This is one of the few platforms many people that are having events or doing positive things for plus-size women get to promote on. So, I love doing that.
Well, I think that the plus-size community appreciates that. And a couple events that I know are coming up are the Full Figure Fashion Week, of course, in June, which was gone but is now back. So I think there's a lot of people that are excited about that. And then CurvyCon, which is Cece Olisa and Chastity Garner's new event, which is June 20th in New York. So that's something that I hope I will see you at. I will definitely be there. But, yeah, if you're plus size and you've got a brand or you've got an idea or you've got a show of your own, make sure to let Chenese know about it.
Now, I don't promote plus-size podcasts that are similar to mine. That's a conflict. But if it's anything else, then there's no problem.
Hopefully nobody would pitch you, hey, promote my plus-size podcast. Okay? People
They have.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I always like to say there's room for everybody. So I guess if it's really different, like if it was comedy or something, that would be fine. But anyways, I think this has been so fun to chat with you. I don't know if you have a last final anniversary message you want to send to everybody, or maybe a thank you to your listeners.
I just want to say thank you for everybody for sticking with me for 7 years. Even though I go on hiatus, I come back and, the listeners remain faithful. I love, being a part of the Plus community and interviewing everybody doing fabulous things. And, I don't know if I'm going to do it for another 7 years, but as long as I keep going, I'm going to be a good platform for the community.
Well, I love it, and thank you for having me tonight. This has been a blast. Keep tuning in for more Plus industry professionals with stories to not only inspire you, but to keep you connected with the curvy community. If you're interested in advertising on the show or being a guest, visit the website at CheneseLewisShow.com. And if you haven't already, don't forget to join the fan page on Facebook, Facebook.com/Chenese Lewis Show. Chenese, I do wish you continued success, and I'm so excited to see what 2015, 16, 17, and on bring you.
And thank you so much for doing this. Let me tell you, thank you so much for doing this. You did a good job, and continued success with your hosting career. That's why I chose you. I wanted a real host to sit in, not just a wannabe host, but a good professional host.
Well, with that said, yes, I'm at the Marcy Minute, Marcy Guevara. I've been your host this evening. Thank you for tuning in and supporting. And everyone out there, just keep driving in your curves. And as Chenese says, be blessed.